Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jason Wehrli with WCFab. Today we have our LBZ LMM Duramax Stage 2 High Flow Bundle Kit. All right, we've got our High Flow Bundle Kit for the 2006 to 2010 LBZ or LMM Duramax on the table in front of us here. This one in particular is specific for the LMM. A couple different components and sensors that are slightly different on the LMM version versus the LBZ. You need to make sure you're ordering the one specific for which truck model you have. Old body style, classic as it's also known as, being the LBZ, and the new body style being the LMM, to make sure you have the proper components. So what we've done in our high flow bundle kits is take a lot of our popular product and combine it into one high flow air package that saves you a bundle of money versus buying all the components individually and separately. Saves you money on shipping, ship it all in less packages, and saves you money versus in powder coat up charges, and also price savings on the components themselves buying in that bundle package. So let's talk about the components of the kit here. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos where we talk about each item individually, we'll do a quick overview of what's all included in the bundle kit. So first component, we'll start with the air intake kit and work our way through the plumbing of the engine. We have our highly anticipated and newly released fabricated aluminum air boxes and 4-inch intake pipe for the LBZ LMM Duramax. These are an upgrade from our previous model kits, which was just an intake pipe with an air filter on the end. This is a heavy-duty air box, not 16-gauge flimsy sheet metal, with a full 3 sides and a bolt-on lid. We're pulling air from the fender as well as from the bottom through the fender well for increased airflow to that air filter versus the factory plastic box. As I mentioned, the lid is removable and is bolt-on with 4 Allen screws to service and access that air filter. Inside the air box, we have our 4-inch high flow dry air filter. That's a replaceable style air filter. You can clean them a few times with compressed air, knock the dirt out, but they are not meant to be washed. They are meant to be a replaceable, dry, non-oiled filter. On the outside of that filter, we have our outerwears pre-filter cover. These are an extra step of protection against water, moisture, keeping that dry air filter dry and not getting wet, and also helps keep large debris from filling up the pleats of the air filter. That air filter connected to our 4-inch mandrel bent intake pipe. The newly released air intake kits for the LBZ LMM Duramax have a improved mass airflow sensor bung for no tuning required on stock trucks, and improved throttle response and airflow. Moving from our 4-inch intake pipe, we have our expander boot from 4 to 4 3/4, which adapts to our high flow cast aluminum intake horn. This intake horn is massively larger than the OEM horn. The OEM horn actually fits inside of this one in the 3D CAD model, as you can see here. This intake horn with provisions for the OEM PCV connection. Additionally, on our high flow intake horn, we include an O-ring seal connection at the face of the turbocharger versus the factory style, which is just a plastic to metal connection, which is notorious for causing an oily mess all over the face of the turbocharger and the valley of the engine. So major improvement over the OEM connection there to keep not only dirt out of the engine, but keeping the top side of the engine much cleaner than the factory. The factory plastic injection molded part, 312 CFM, that part flows, while our high flow horn, 375. That's a 20% increase over the OEM component, 63 CFM gain. So again, a large upgrade over the OEM unit being plastic, ours cast aluminum and powder coated. From there, through the turbocharger, whether you're running an OEM turbocharger or an upgraded VGT unit, it's compatible with either one. We then go to our high flow 3-inch driver side intercooler pipe. This unit here replaces the OEM 2.5-inch intercooler pipe, and most importantly, upgrades the boot connection at the turbo outlet. Turbo outlet of that turbocharger sees the highest temperatures of the whole intercooling system, and the OEM boot on the driver's side pipe is one of the #1 failure components of the intercooling system on the LBZ LMM Duramaxes. The OEM boot uses a reverse style bead roll connection at the intercooler pipe, which is notorious for blowing off even on stock applications at stock boost levels. If you do a lot of towing, if you're pulling grades through the mountains, or if you have upgraded tuning, it's even worse and more common to blow off that boot connection at the turbocharger. So we've replaced that connection with our high quality silicone boot 5-ply with a high temperature internal liner, as well as a wire reinforced center so that boot cannot expand and cause any tears. That boot connects to our 3-inch pipe, as I mentioned, mandrel bent aluminum 14 gauge pipe, replacing the factory 2.5-inch component. At the intercooler connection, we replaced the factory angled boot, which is also another failure point, with a straight 3-inch boot connection. All right, so flowing from your driver's side pipe through your intercooler, whether you have an OEM intercooler or aftermarket, either or is fine. We then go to our cold side pipe. The factory cold side pipe on the LBZ LMM Duramax is about 3 inches and it's plastic. These trucks are 10+ years old now, and it's not uncommon to see those plastic intercooler pipes starting to fail. We've upgraded to a 3.5-inch, which is a massive increase in airflow over stock. On the flow bench, our OEM plastic intercooler pipe assembly flows 512 CFM at 28 inches water column. The WCFab 3.5-inch high flow intercooler pipe assembly flows a massive 755 CFM, 47% increase over factory. Another benefit of our cold side pipe over the factory pipe uses a single lip ring style seal. At the connection to the intercooler and at the throttle valve, we use a double O-ring style seal and include new wire clips to replace any of those old wore out factory components. This intercooler pipe then connects to our 3-inch upper intercooler pipe and 3-inch Y-bridge assembly. So as I mentioned earlier, this kit in front of us here is LMM specific. The LMM using a throttle valve, whereas the LBZ is a direct connection to that 3.5-inch cold side pipe we just talked about. We use an O-ring seal to connect to that OEM throttle valve. We have your map sensor to connect your factory map sensor with the new map sensor seal. That lower component then connects to your grid heater. Now the factory grid heater connection on the LBZ LMM uses some thin metal gaskets. If your components are ever disassembled and reassembled, those metal gaskets are notorious for leaks. What we've done is incorporated a high temperature O-ring style seal, which is a much better seal than the OEM style metal gasket. So we incorporate that factory grid heater, which is what makes this kit completely emissions compliant, no tuning required. The whole kit, stage 2, stage 1, 2, and 3, are all bolt-on, no tuning required. So from the grid heater, we connect to our upper intercooler pipe. This 3-inch mandrel bent aluminum assembly connects to the EGR system, just like OEM, again using high quality, high temperature silicone connection instead of the factory metal gaskets. This component here replaces your very restrictive OEM pipe, has several neck down components. The 3-inch smooth mandrel bend part flows 36% better than the OEM component. That upper crossover pipe connects to our 3-inch Y-bridge. And one of the nicest features of this Y-bridge is the ease of installation. So we'll go through how this works here so that you understand. The factory bridge is 2-piece, and that's one of the largest downfalls with the factory bridge. As you can see here, the OEM design, the inlet is just 2 O-rings sliding into the bridge, and there's nothing else that supports that bridge or keeps that inlet connected to the bridge crossover section. So what's important about our 2-piece design versus the OEM 2-piece design is how we connect our inlet pipe to the bridge so that it doesn't slip apart like the faulty OEM design does. First, the installation of the silicone O-ring on the face of the lower section. With a healthy amount of grease, the inlet pipe slides down into place with the bottom engaging into the groove, and the top side, installation of the stud, and we have our special tapered nut which seats into the tapered flange. As you install the nut on the stud, and as the nut tightens down against the flange, it takes that horn and seals the face of it tight against the O-ring that was recently installed. What that does is give you a leak-free seal 3 inches the whole way through the track, not getting necked down to 2 1/4 like the factory, and then into the internal divider that helps split the air between your passenger side and driver side intake runners. So we described all the components in detail, why they're better than the factory parts, all of the flow increases, all of the shortcomings of the OEM parts, and what we've improved on. What does all that mean to you? Why would you want a Stage 2 or Stage 3 high flow bundle kit? All of this is a seat of the pants difference in throttle response, turbo spool up, decreased EGTs, and depending on how aggressive your right foot is, it can even lead to improved fuel economy. All of our product, as we always mention, powder coated here in-house. Many different colors to choose from. WCFab red shown in front of us here. This is one of our stock colors, typically available to ship within just a couple days. And we've got over 35 other standard colors to choose from. So if you've got any other questions about our Stage 1, 2, or 3 bundle kits, or which kit might fit your needs the best, feel free to leave a comment below or reach out to our sales team. Thanks a lot for watching.